Hello, I'm Maël Simon, currently working as a Python AI developer. In this video, I talk about my first try with VibeCoding and the lesson I learned, things that I would do different today. So the goal was to build a complex environmental simulation with a 48-hour deadline. At first, I thought it wasn't possible, but then I remember that I had already 1 year of watching other code with AI. And I thought, okay, let's go with this. It's going to make it faster and maybe I will be able to meet the deadline. And basically it's what is called vibe coding, but at this time the word didn't exist. So for people who don't know, vibe coding is when you prompt AI to generate entire sections of code from natural language. And this is exactly what I did. It was really my first time using AI for an entire project. Before, I already used AI into some projects, but the AI was part of the code. I didn't use AI to write the code. And obviously, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, because otherwise there wouldn't be a video here. By the end, I learned 3 critical lessons that now guide how I approach every AI coding project as a professional. Let me share what happened and what I do differently. So my first vibe coding experience started in October 2024 when my future PhD supervisor reached out with an opportunity. So as I said, it was a research project and they needed an environmental simulation in 48 hours. The goal was to provide data to artists so that they could explore different ways to visualize complex data. And yeah, the project was complex. It was a 2D grid simulation with cities, forests, fields, each with environmental quality metrics like air quality and soil health. Think like Conway's Game of Life, but with multiple independent systems. I dove in prompting the AI to generate code for different components. At first, it felt incredible, like code was appearing faster than I ever written it myself. But then, 12 hours before the deadline, I tried to run the complete system. And yeah, nothing was working properly, the code was breaking everywhere, features weren't connecting to each other. The AI had forgotten previous requests, and the worst of all, I couldn't understand half of what it had generated, like really the worst. So I had to restart from scratch. Yeah. Even with the remaining 12 hours, I couldn't deliver something I was proud of. So the project deadline passed and I felt like I failed. Separately, I was job hunting and I landed a position as a Python AI developer in January 2025. And now, looking back with a professional experience, I can see exactly what went wrong and how to avoid it. So I'm going to share it with you. So the first lesson I learned is the most important one. Test the minimal core first. And I say that because I still have a tendency to build complex features before testing the core. I stopped counting like the number of hours I lost because I went in thinking like my project will work based on this core feature, and in fact there was a core feature underneath that I didn't test it, and I lost hours and hours debugging that core feature inside what I thought was my core feature. And the thing is, AI makes this worse because it can generate impressive code quickly. So you write way more code, you think you're going faster, but in fact, you're just losing time. So my lesson now is always start with the hello world. It's the absolute minimum to prove that your environment works. So at least you know that your environment works. So now the problem is in the code, it's not in the environment. Then, as I say, you have to identify the critical part of your project. So without these parts, everything else is pointless. And you have to test that core functionality first. You have to make sure it works. Otherwise, the rest doesn't serve anything and you're going to lose hours and hours like I did. So this lesson, I'm still trying to apply it, but you only get better and better after trying to do that. The second lesson combines preparation and detailed planning, giving your AI the right context. So basically, I jumped straight into prompting without proper setup. So the AI did not understand the full project context. And basically, I was just making up the requirements as I went, which is now the worst thing you can do. It works, but it's really not good compared to what I'm going to teach you. So it's composed in two parts. The part one is the project foundation, and the part two is the milestone planning. I'm going to start, of course, with the project foundation. So the goal is to write the README first. It's going to be the overall project goal and the context, like who it's for, how to use it, why does it exist, etc. Really the README for a user. Write that into the README and it's going to guide you, the AI, and the user at the end. Maybe the user is just you, but who knows. Then we want to establish like the internal knowledge you've got inside and to give it to the AI. So it will be the coding rules and the standards you have for developing. It will be the dependencies that you have and you choose. It will be to document any constraints or requirements. So yeah, everything that you have in mind or that you know kinda. Don't suppose that the AI has not it. Write it into a file and you're going to give it to the AI. Really, this becomes your AI foundational knowledge. You're going to give all this context with each milestone that you're going to build, and it's going to guide your AI. Then the part two is to plan the different milestones. So for each key milestone, you have to write a detailed plan if you know in the dev done, or a PRD. A PRD is a product requirements document. It's an artifact used in the product development process to communicate what capabilities must be included in a product release to the development and testing teams. It's long, but basically it's you should have this working at the end. In these documents, or at least how I do it, it's first you're going to write the high-level context. So why you're building this feature, what the one target of this feature. Then you're going to give the mid-level details. So how you will implement it, like the different functionalities under that are the goal of this feature. And then you really get into the low-level specifics. So the object structures, the function signature, the exact behavior of a function, this kind of stuff. Really, the goal is that you still solve the problem, but you let the AI write the generic code. Really, you think you solve the problem because the AI becomes good at mimicking thinking, but still it has problem with solving problem. And your goal as a developer is to solve the problem. So I insist on that. Solve the problem, make the architecture this interesting part, and then you can just let the AI write the generic code because it knows how to do it. It just has to convert the basic instructions into code. So once you have your document, you can give your AI clear and detailed instructions, one milestone at a time. So you're going to take this PRD, you're going to take all the README context and dependencies, etc., which is in two documents basically. So you're going to give the AI the three documents, and then you can let it write the code for you. This approach ensures your AI understands both the big picture and the specific implementation details. And lastly, the third lesson is about taking ownership when working with AI-generated code. So basically, like in my project, I trusted the AI's output without questioning it. Like I didn't read through the generated code carefully. I made a basic overview and thought, okay, it looks legit, it should work, let's go. And because of that, I just lost ownership of my own code base. I didn't know what code does what, where it was, and some functionalities were in double or some were missing, etc. I just didn't know what the code was doing because it was not mine, and I didn't read it enough clearly. So what would I do differently today? I would, like I said, apply one PRD at a time with my AI agent. I would have the AI to write the test first and then the implementation, because this forces the AI to have test. It can run the test alone. And yeah, because it knows what is going to be evaluated, it can make better code. And then you're going to test the code yourself until you're confident it works. Why? It's because sometimes the AI is going to write like thousands lines of code, which you think, oh, it's extensive. But in fact, it's just basics. It's going to be just really basics test. Like if I say 1 + 1 does it equal 2, yeah, it does, really great. But I don't care. It's not the goal of its feature. So yeah, you have to test the code yourself until you're confident it works, because the test generated by the AI may not be the best. You also have to read and understand every line of the generated code. So you're making a code review basically, because it's in fact what you are doing. You give the task of generating the code to something else, but you are responsible of this code. So you have to make a code review to ensure that it's good. Don't hesitate to ask the AI to explain anything you're unsure about. It has great explanation capabilities, so yeah, ask the question. The goal is really to make the code your own. You can refactor it if needed, but really the main point is you're responsible for the final product. So you must know what's in your code base and why it exists. Basically, the AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a replacement for your understanding of the code base. These 3 lessons transform how I approach AI-assisted development. If you want to master this approach of getting faster from idea to generation, I've created the Time Crafter Starter Kit. It includes a visual blueprint of effective AI coding workflows and a 1-hour masterclass covering everything I wish I'd know when starting with LLMs. You can find it in my community, the Timecraft Guild for Engineers, link in the description. On that note, I wish you a good day. Bye.